All right, today we're talking about something huge, something that could completely change the way you work if you build software. We're talking about the death of documentation as we know it. Okay, let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest, especially if you're a developer. When was the last time you actually updated your project's README? Yeah. If you're kind of cringing right now, or maybe feeling a little bit of that guilt creeping in, don't worry. You're definitely not alone. And that feeling right there is exactly what we're going to talk about. So that brings us to our first big idea. It's time to burn the manual. I mean, let's be real. Writing docs is the absolute worst part of the job, right? It's that thing you always save for later, the end of the day, Friday afternoon, or maybe you just never get to it. We all think of it as this necessary evil. But what if it wasn't necessary at all?
The way out of this mess requires a totally different way of thinking. We need to go from active writing to what we'll call passive observing. So active writing, that's what we're all stuck with now. You know the drill. You finish a cool feature, then you have to stop doing the fun stuff to go manually write about what you just did. It's a drag, and the craziest part, it's probably out of date the minute you hit save. But passive observing, now this is a game changer. You just work, that's it. And the documentation, it just happens, automatically. In the background, always, and I mean always, up to date. And that, right there, is the heart of what we're talking about today. It's a full-on passive revolution. Look, this isn't about some fancy new text editor. This is about a whole new philosophy. It's about letting the work, the actual code, the demos you make, tell its own story. You don't have to be the middleman, the translator, anymore. Okay, so what in the world is passive documentation? Let's break it down. It's super simple, really. It's when an AI just watches you work and automatically creates the documentation as it happens. The key isn't just that it's automated, it's that it happens while you're working, not as an afterthought. It completely flips the script. All right, this is where it gets really cool. The big question, how does this magic actually happen? Well, this is where AI comes in to do all the grunt work, turning what it sees into documentation that actually makes sense. And I've got two killer examples to show you exactly how it works. First up, let's talk about Loom AI. Now, you probably already know Loom for making quick screen recordings, right? Well, the process starts exactly the same way. You just hit record, do a quick walkthrough of a new feature, explain a bug fix, whatever. Simple. But here's where your jaw is going to drop. That one little video you made, it doesn't just stay a video. The AI takes it, cracks it open, and turns it into 10 different useful things. One video becomes 10 assets. Just think about that for a second. That's a 10x return on your effort, just for pressing a button. So how does it do it? Well, you record your demo. Then the AI goes to work, analyzing everything, what you're saying, what's on the screen, all of it. And then bam, it starts pulling out all the good stuff, a full transcript, any code you showed, screenshots of key moments, and it pulls it all together into a beautiful, ready-to-go documentation page. You literally don't have to write a single word. Okay, video is great, but what about when you're just in the zone, writing code? That's where our second example comes in, Gitbook AI. And this one is so smart because it hooks directly into the heartbeat of a project, your code commits. The way this works is just elegant. You write your code, you push it up to GitHub like you always do, but now there's a little docs bot waiting for it. You can think of it like a smart assistant that's constantly watching your repository. It sees your new code, reads the changes, and actually understands the point of what you just built. And what you get from this is, well, it's pretty much the holy grail for every software team out there. Docs that can never go out of date. Because the documentation is born directly from the code. When the code changes, the docs change instantly, automatically. That horrible, frustrating gap between what the product actually does and what the docs say it does is just gone forever. So let's bring this all back home. What does this actually mean for you? The person who's actually in the trenches building things. Honestly, this is the most important part of the whole conversation. This is about what your 5 o'clock looks like from now on. It's about getting back the one thing you can't make more of, your time. It totally redefines the job description. Here's the new rule. Your job is to build. The AI's job is to explain. That's it. You get to focus 100% on creating amazing things, and you let the machines worry about telling everyone how those amazing things work. Think about this for a second. Picture it. It's the end of the day. You close your laptop, and that's it. There's no nagging voice in the back of your head saying, oh, I still have to write those docs. That 2 hours of soul-crushing writing you used to do, it's just gone. It's your time again. You can use it to tackle the next big thing, or you can just go live your life. And look, this isn't a small change. It's a total transformation. In this new world, almost all of your time is spent doing the thing you actually love, building stuff. That documentation overhead, it shrinks down to almost nothing. It becomes a tiny, automated blip on the radar, instead of this giant monster that eats up all your energy. So, I want to leave you with this one big question. If we let the AI handle explaining the what this button does, what this code is for, it frees up our brains, our human creativity, for the much more important questions. So the real question is, with all that time and mental energy back, what incredible new problems are you going to solve?